Hi, good afternoon. Today we will talk about a problem that currently has affected a number of young people in Oaxaca. This topic is drugs and their relationship with the school dropout.
That's right, a difficult but necessary topic. My name is Manuel, and I invite you to stay with us as this podcast will provide you with key information to better understand and prevent it.
Did you know that according to the OECD, Mexico has one of the highest score dropout rates among young people? One of the main reasons is drug use. Why is this happening? Let's find out.
We need to be aware of the fact that during adolescence, young people go through a state of self-exploration and identity formation.
In other words, adolescents are often very vulnerable to the presence of social pressure and the influence of their friends.
Here, then is where the main factors for adolescents to make the decisions to use drugs are presented. Among them are influence of both friends and peers, fun and experimentation, escape from emotional problems such as stress or anxiety.
Well, that is correct. It even seems to me that it also involves wanting to improve academic or sports performance, curiosity and lack of information, lack of motivation or purpose in life, and psychological factors such as hyperactivity.
I find it very interesting since many of these factors might go unities and yet they trigger a number of problems.
That's right, seemingly simple problems such as memory loss or extreme ones such as cardiovascular accidents are amongst the most present when using drugs according to Bertolli 2017, and it also seems to me that King 2015 agrees on this.
Even Bortoli also mentions that sleep disturbances and even presenting hallucinations are consequences of drug. And coupled with this, there is low motivation, low performance, and even dropping out of school according to Indigo, Branch, and Gaku 2019.
I don't know if you know, but in Mexico the dropout rate was 15.5% in 2015 to 2016 and managed to drop to 14.5% in 2017 to 2018.
This is very curious because it is precisely in the first year of high school that the highest dropout rates occur, since adolescents go through a period of adaptation, and it is here that they become more vulnerable.
In fact, 11.1% of students who dropped out of school in that period have acknowledged that drug use had a major impact on their decision to drop out of school.
It is very sad that these dates are present in our country, and it is even more regrettable to mention that in Oaxaca, 15.2% of adolescents have accepted drugs use at lessons in their lives, usually in high school.
I know these are very hard days and it's difficult to accept that drugs play a very important role in school dropout. But there are measures to prevent their use, right?
Yes, according to Klimenko and Violato 2018, parents have a fundamental role in preventing drug use. Open communication and teaching values help adolescents to make better decisions. For this, one of the most important things is that young people must have the information about the negative effects of drugs from an early age. Even these authors mention that it is important to create a space for dialogues without prejudice and to supervise friendships but without being too invasive with the space of adolescents.
In fact, I had also heard something about recreational activities.
Yes, something about doing sports, right?
That's right. Enjoying leisure time in a healthy way reduces the risk of drug use. It is usually recommended to do group sports to encourage discipline and cooperation. Maybe art and music to channel emotions, and volunteering to help society. and feel good about oneself.
On the other hand, according to Montero 2017, setting up informed tasks in school helps students to make more informed decisions. Here it is possible to set up simulations to develop refusal skills, audiovisual material, and even testimonials from young people in recovery.
Likewise, it is important for young people to learn to say it's not a social pressure, right? From my point of view, young people should feel empowered to make decisions without being negatively influenced.
With what we have already mentioned, is it possible realize that preventing drug use in adolescents is a task for everyone since the family, the school, the community, and even the adolescent himself are involved. So the more he work on effective strategies, the more young people we are able to avoid falling in the cycle for addiction.
I agree with you. Therefore, we need to understand that if an adolescent is developing addiction, certain symptoms may be present.
It is true, for example, King 2015 or Stinking Kumar 2017 mentioned to us that one of the main symptoms is drastic mood changes.
That's right, I've been seeing that they tend to stop taking care of themselves, become untidy, and stop sleeping.
I have noticed that too. Adolescents with addiction often present learning difficulties and even present a higher risk of dropping out of school.
It is unfortunate to know that in the school environment, drug use can generate violence and affect other students.
I know it is very sad. However, as we have already seen, solving this problem involves teamwork and not just the students. So perhaps the real question is, how can we make a difference in the students' community?
Well, I think the simplest or most basic thing is perhaps to get to the point of prevention through communication. Okay? Well, it all starts with conversation, and talking openly about it can change lives.
Yes, it is. So, if you have a story, opinion, or question, share it with us. This is your space, a space for everyone.
We can build cyberspace and support those who need it.
Thank you very much for listening. See you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.
See you next time.